First and foremost, I want to say a massive congratulations to Jamie Donley and Josh Keley for qualifying for the League One playoff final last night against Stockport. What a game. What a two-legged tie. Obviously, they drew 2-2 at home in the first leg. Last night, it was 1-1, went all the way to penalties. Josh Keley, the star of the show yesterday. He was brilliant, wasn't he?
Absolutely fantastic. Did he get man of the match? He must have.
If he didn't, I don't know what they're doing, because I thought he was phenomenal. Some of the saves that he was pulling out, saved in the penalty shootout as well. Jamie Donley as well, he just ran his socks off last night. And both of them can hold their heads up really high.
Yeah, and I think it was clearly a difficult game, but they took the lead and they were looking to hang on to that lead for most of the game. They did get a setback. Got to say, great finish from the Stockport player, that little back heel with the shot, and wrong-footed Keley. But there was a moment, especially near the end of the game and in extra time, where Stockport, it looked only a matter of time before they would score, but Keley was just battering everything away, everything that came his way, making save after save, keeping Leyton Orient in the game, and then stepped up in the penalty shootout, made the save, and here they are in the final. And Donley, I think, did he play 120 minutes?
No, he went off towards the end of extra time.
Toward the end, yeah. So he went off. So he went off a bit later on, but. He was doing a crucial job for the team, winning fouls, relieving the pressure, all that kind of stuff. And I think people need to understand the achievement this is for Orient to get to this final, because before the season, they were tipped to be in a relegation battle. They were tipped to really struggle. And they were struggling as well up until November time, where Keley and Donley became fixtures in the team. And these two players have literally dragged them to this playoff.
And the striker as well.
And not on the striker. I'm just saying...
Of
course, I'm just saying, since they got into the team, that really gave them the injection they needed to kick on and get into this, get an outside shot at the playoffs and actually get there. Now they're in the final, and I think if it wasn't for Donley and Keley, I don't know if they'd be there.
Yeah, it's true. Keley, I think, particularly what a season he's had, from the saving them in the FA Cup with that goal in the last round. He's been probably, close to their player of the year. It's rare you give a goalkeeper player of the year.
Well, they gave it to Donley, didn't they?
They did give it to Donley, but I think even before Donnelly kind of came to the fore for them, Josh Keley was already performing and already being one of their standout players. So I think he might have slipped a bit under the radar in terms of player of the season. He's been phenomenal. He really has.
He's just been called up for the senior Ireland team, which is an incredible achievement, which if you told him at the beginning of the season, by the end of the season, you're going to be playing for your country and potentially, get your first cap at his age. It's phenomenal. And it just goes to show the strides he's making, the recognition he's getting. And look, hopefully we got a keeper for the future there at Tottenham, if he can get his chance.
And the Leyton Orient manager was speaking after the game, and he was speaking about Josh Keley, and he said that, he was so confident that they were going to win the penalty shootout. Not only because they've had 4 penalty shootouts already over the course of the season, but he said Josh Keley is the best goalkeeper at penalties that he's ever seen in his career, which is crazy.
Wow, especially at this young age. That's mad.
That's Richie Wellens, Richie Wellens came through the academy at Manchester United when Sir Alex Ferguson was there. He probably played most of his football at Leicester, but I don't think he ever made a senior appearance for Manchester United, but he was there when all the greats were there.
So he's better at penalties than Schmeichel, is that
That's what he's saying? That's what he's saying.
Unless he wasn't there when Schmeichel was there, I don't know. But look, it's high praise for especially being such a young goalkeeper. And I think his loan deal couldn't have gone any better, I think. If he could have asked for how well this loan deal would go, he'd probably say something like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it begs the question now, what happens next season with these guys? Obviously, they've got the playoff final to think about. And if Leyton Orient do win that and do get promoted, the second semi-finals tonight, I think, between Charlton and someone else, can't remember who off the top of my head. But if Leyton Orient do get promoted, do they go back there? Because they're clearly loved by the fans. It's a place that they feel at home, London-based as well. Or do they come back here? Do they try and get a loan move even further up the pecking order? What do we do with them next season?
Yeah, it's a good question. Which is what Ange was talking. I was asked about them in his press conference about what we're going to do with them. He said, obviously first of all, he doesn't know if he's going to be the one taking care of that, but he's assuming he is, I'm guessing. And he said that we'll take them back in pre-season, we'll have a good look at them, and we'll make all the relevant decisions. Obviously, there's rumours about, I think, West Brom in for Donley and other clubs. So I think we've got to do what's best for him. But I think right now, I think Orient would be a fantastic option if they're back in the Championship. If they're in the Championship, sorry, and they're settled in that team, they know that they're going to get the game time. They know they play in a certain way that suits them, and they're well loved by the fans. The coach loves them as well. Like, I think it's probably a great option to get that experience in the Championship for another season for them.
Yeah. Well, you talk about the West Brom links, and that's the next thing I was about to say, as you can see on the headline. Birmingham Live, a publication out in Birmingham, says that West Brom are interested in bringing Jamie Donley on a permanent deal for next season. The Baggies have made an early 1.5 million offer to his parent club Spurs as they look to prize him away on a permanent deal. He still has 2 years left in his contract at Tottenham, and if they don't want to let him go permanently, an option of a season-long loan move is on the table as well. First of all, get your grubby hands off him, West Brom, because you ain't getting him on a permanent, that's for sure. And in terms of a loan, I'm just looking at the way that this Lancashire loan has gone, and it's been horrible for him, to be honest. He hasn't been able to get good amount of game time. I don't know how well West Brom have done this season, but
it's weird because
5 points out the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but when I've seen West Brom fans talk about him, they seem to have quite high praise for him. They seem to say like he's got really good hold-up play, like he does a really good job when he's on the pitch. But it seems as though, I don't know, the manager just doesn't think he's... Well, they got like they play Grant up front a lot of the time, and they don't really start him too many games. But apparently, when he's gotten his opportunity, obviously, I don't think he scored any goals or anything, but apparently he's looked quite good, and I've seen some praise. But unfortunately, it hasn't gone to plan, I would say, for him. So whether we trust West Brom to take Donley as well, I don't know. But then again, if as you say, they're a team near the playoffs. And if they're going to be near that again next season, and they're going to give Donley more opportunities, then it might be a good club to go to potentially.
Get Donley at Wrexham. That's what I say. they're headed straight to the top.
That'd be fun. Wouldn't mind that.
Let's get into some injury news, because Ange has been speaking in the press conference today. Firstly, he has confirmed that Timo Werner currently has a hamstring strain.
Ooh, big blow.
And he's going to be out for the game tomorrow night. Do you reckon if he didn't have a hamstring strain, he would have been in contention?
No.
Not even with the big game coming up next week?
No.
Why not?
Because he hasn't... We left him out of the Europa squad. He hasn't played since January.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably play more over him. I don't think we'd play him.
Not even off the bench, nothing.
No. Maybe on the bench, maybe. But other than that, I don't think he plays tomorrow, even if he's fit.
Yeah. On Sonny, he says whether he'll start or not, we'll see. He reacted well to Sunday, and it makes sense to get him more match minutes, whether it be starting or just playing half the game. So I do envisage maybe Sonny starting tomorrow and then coming off at half time.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where he plays him. Obviously, he left out Richarlison and Solanke of the game against Palace. Does he do the same tomorrow? If he does do the same, is Sonny going to play up front? If he doesn't, could Sonny maybe play in the 10? Because I do envisage whatever happens, Tell's probably going to start tomorrow. Yeah. So if Tell is going to start, does he start up front? Does he start in the 10? I think we're going to learn we'll learn a bit in terms of maybe Ange's intentions for the solutions in that for the Decky's replacement essentially tomorrow, in the sense that what he tries and who looks best. And he said he will be trying some things, and he's also said there's a chance for someone to kind of grab that position for Wednesday.
Yeah, he did say that. On Bergvall, we heard some rumours yesterday floating around on social media that's saying Bergvall is back on the grass, and he's getting back fit, training by himself, and kind of Ange almost confirmed all that in his press conference, and he says, but he did say that Lucas is not making a quick recovery from his injury. He says it's still the same time frame. It was never a long-term one, but he has just got out the boot and he's taking his first steps on the grass, but it's still likely to be a while. Now, we have heard Ange be a bit devious with his injury updates before, but it's usually the other way. Do we believe Ange, and do we believe he's definitely out for the final?
Well, it hasn't happened before where he said someone's out and then come the game that they're back. I do
kind of vaguely remember.
I think last season it happened with Bentancur,
didn't it happen with Romero and Van de Ven for the Chelsea game?
That as well. I think he he wouldn't confirm that they're fit or something, or he said in the press conference, they're still maybe a bit away, and they both played. I think Bentancur as well.
But they did both break down that game.
They did. But what's it called? Bentancur, I remember last season when he was come back from his injury, he got injured against Villa, and then kind of out of nowhere he came back was a bit of a surprise. So I wouldn't completely rule out, especially seeing as he's out the boot and he is back on grass and he's got a week to recover. So you never know, but I think, look, obviously whatever happens, it will be a risk. It would be rushing him back. There's a chance he'll break. There's a good chance he'll break down if he is there. So I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't put your money on it. But I guess the fact that he's out the boot and he is kind of saying, it's not a long-term thing and all that kind of stuff. So maybe there's a small chance. And the fact that some people are saying he is in individual training at the moment, that's some of the rumours there as well. So I'm sure he's going to try his best. And maybe there might be a spot on the bench for him. I don't see him starting or anything on Wednesday. But if he can give us any kind of minutes, especially if we're chasing a game and we need just that little bit of magic, and he can give us 5-10 minutes, maybe it'll be worth rushing him back. But I wouldn't bank on it.
Look, if you're going to rush him back for any game, it's going to be this one, a cup final where he can really make an impact. But look, we'll wait and see. And on Decky, it's horrific news, to be honest. He said in the press conference, initially we thought it wasn't too serious, but it blew up the day after. He's had surgery, which will put him out for at least a few months. And there was a club statement that says, we can confirm Dejan Kulusevski suffered an injury to his right patella in our Premier League fixture against Crystal Palace last weekend. Following further specialist consultation, the midfielder has undergone surgery today and will commence his rehabilitation with our medical staff immediately. We're all with you, Decky. And he took to social media yesterday and he says, for the people that I gave joy this year, thank you, I appreciate you, and I love you. Don't be sad. We'll be back, and we're coming for everybody.
I like that. But it's just our luck, isn't it? I understand that with Maddison and Bergvall out, people would want Ange to wrap him in cotton wool ahead of the final. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like he was playing well. He kind of needed the game time to try and get up to speed for that final. And I don't really blame Ange for playing him. Yeah. And it's just one of those things. A hard but fair challenge by Guehi. He wasn't even a foul. He gets the ball, and Decky just tweaks his knee. It's just so unfortunate that it happens a couple games before the final, and it's just our luck, isn't it? It just seems as though whenever we seem to be getting to a good place in the squad, something bad is just around the corner. And as Ange said, he sees the light at the tunnel, and it seems to be an oncoming train, and this seems to be another one. So it's gutting for him, especially the veracity of the injury. They're saying months. He confirmed it's going to be months. Ange Postecoglou, he was even asked in the press conference, some players with this kind of injury could be up to 12 months with this injury.
The journalist said if you Google the surgery that Decky has had, they're saying 6 to 12 months. That's which is mental. I mean, Decky, to be fair, is the kind of player who usually does recover maybe quicker than most from injuries. But still, I mean, the fact that it's possible with this kind of injury, I'm guessing it depends on the severity of how bad it was, whatever it was happened, the severity of it. He did say he doesn't think it's going to be 12 months, but the fact that it, he didn't say he doesn't think it's going to be 6 months though.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know, I guess, is the reality, and we have to wait and see what the prognosis is. But the fact that that kind of injury has that kind of potential is it's just so gutting for him. And look, we wish him a speedy recovery, but looks as though he's going to be out for a while, and that's gutting.
What we do know though for sure is he's going to miss the start next season. That's for sure. Which is
he said he doesn't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he probably will. But that's that in the injury news.
We thought Dragusin would be out for the new year, and he's back, isn't he?
He's back on the grass, yeah. But you never know. Like, still, when back on the grass, how long until you're match fit and actually get on the pitch?
Yeah, but if
you're back on the grass, you do assume he's going to get the start of the season.
Yeah, he's got 3 months to get fit from the start of the season, which is incredible work from Radu. So you never know.
Yeah, it's true. Let's talk about Son Heung-min, because a weird one coming out. ESPN reporting that Tottenham captain Son Heung-min has filed a complaint to the South Korean police alleging he was the victim of a blackmail attempt. His agency said on Thursday, after media reports that a woman had threatened him with false pregnancy claims. The police are currently investigating, so we'll let you know the results as soon as they're available. His agency, Son and Football Limited, said in a statement, "We'd like to tell you that Son Heung-min is clearly the victim of this incident."
Well, that's obviously horrible news. Hopefully he's doing okay personally with it, and hopefully they arrest the perpetrator and whoever's doing it, and Sonny can, recover mentally from it. Obviously, this kind of news for him at any point is awful. Ahead of a big cup final is probably even more pressure on him. to kind of get his head in the right space. I hope he's doing okay. That's all I can say, really. It's a terrible story, really, for him to be a victim of that kind of thing.
They even went as far as to ask Ange about it in the press conference today, didn't they?
Which is a bit ridiculous, I thought.
Yeah, like, he wasn't obviously entertaining any questions like that, and he says, look, this is a criminal matter. Take it up with the police if you want to take it up with anyone. So that's what kind of his vibe was. But Sonny did an interview with TNT a day or two ago, and he was talking about considering himself a club legend or not. And he says, yeah, this is just my opinion. Everybody has a different opinion. So this is the one thing that I always wanted to do. 10 years time, I still don't even think, though, I scored many goals and contributed many things for this club, but I still don't think that piece is the puzzle. So missing the pieces of the puzzle, yeah, that happens. And we'll see after the game what I say. But basically, he was saying he doesn't consider himself a club legend until he brings home a trophy.
You should ask him, does he consider Kane a club legend?
Yeah, no, that should have been the follow-up question.
But yeah, I guess he didn't want to put himself in a tough spot. But yeah, look, obviously for me, he's definitely a club legend. Considering the players we do consider a club legend who haven't won trophies. You don't have to win a trophy to be considered a club legend. And obviously, he's one of our top goal scorers ever in the Prem. He's been one of our most long-serving players in the Prem with consistent high-quality performances. The guy has been a elite world-class striker. He's been, or forward. He's been an incredible ambassador for Tottenham as well, the way he conducts himself, the lovable person he is, and just how good he is. It's just no doubt about it. This guy will be remembered for a long, long time after he leaves Tottenham, whether we win on Wednesday or not. Yeah.
And in my eyes, he's a club legend. Just if he captains the side to this trophy, he'll be even more of a club legend and actually even more into the history of this football club. So, look, we know Sonny, he likes to be hard on himself, doesn't he, at the best of times. So he wants to get that trophy home more than anyone. So let's hope he can do that on Wednesday night. And to see Sonny lifting that trophy more than anyone will give me so much joy. It really will. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Bryan Gil. We haven't mentioned his name in a while. And a Spanish publication, El Demarque, says that Girona now are unlikely to activate the $12.5 million option to buy for Bryan Gil, as they can't afford it. However, Villarreal are now plotting to step in and move to sign the Spanish international this summer.
Yeah, but it's a bit complicated, isn't it? Because he's got a fairly significant injury, doesn't he?
I'm not sure how long he's still out for. Because he got it a while ago, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think it was for a few months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So look, we'll have to wait and see what the kind of plans for him in the summer. Hopefully he gets to move, and I think this chapter needs to be put to bed, because I don't think staying at Tottenham is going to be good for him in the long term. He needs to go back to Spain where he feels more comfortable, and hopefully we can find another move. But yeah, I mean, $12.5 million is not exactly a lot to ask for, but we're struggling to get that fee. So whether we loan him out again or what in the summer remains to be seen, I guess.
Yeah, he actually had a meniscus lateral ligament in his knee, so they don't expect him to be back till around July time. So it's still quite a while, which is obviously not great. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all those news stories brought to you today.